He was free, and that's what he did. He lived free.
He found it challenging and he succeeded.
As a mom, you always want your children to be better than you. He did that. I learned a lot from Josh. He'd say, "Mom, lighten up, lighten up." Because I'm always so serious, because you always have to have someone who's responsible. And Josh is very responsible, but he also had the other side of being just free. 9 pounds, 21 inches long. Basically, we found out we were having a boy. We were ecstatic. He was challenging from the get-go.
I don't know how to say it. He was challenging, baby, like he thought he could fly.
He thought he was Superman, and he had a folding chair, and he wanted to jump over it and hit the fireplace.
And then he wants to have the doctor let him stay awake while they stitch his head.
But he just had a high tolerance for pain, so.
A few years down the road, he'll be rollerblading, thinking that he could tell his mom and his dad that he fell in the street and broke his arm, when truthfully he was in next door neighbor's empty pool rollerblading, and that's how he broke his arm there. And he's holding it like this, and you can see a bone sticking out of it, and he says, "I think I broke my arm," and I said, "Yeah, I think you did too." So Karen and I always wanted to give the kids the best that we could give them, and we put them in like dance school, gymnastics, karate, baseball, football,
It meant a lot to us as a family to support our kids.
He loved challenging teachers in schools because he could be sitting in the back room yakking away or doing something else while the teacher's trying to instruct the students to do something, and they would call up on him and say, "Hey, what did I just tell the class to do," or whatever.
And then they would get really upset when Joshua would repeat word for word what that teacher said. Just because he wasn't looking at her, he was still paying attention.
He does have a smart mouth, but as years got on, he knew how to use that smart mouth to his benefit. He always wanted to be a team player.
He loved sports, and the coaches would call me and tell me, "Do you have any idea how strong your son is?" Your average student would do maybe 1 or 2 pull-ups, and Joshua would break out 30 and not even break a sweat.
And coach always said, "Oh, if you do this, if you do that, and you could be really, good and stuff." Well, he didn't like being used for something for the school. He just wants to do it because he enjoyed doing it.
Junior high, they wanted him to really get into football, and Clovis is about winning, and they took the love away from him, so he didn't want to do it. So we always backed him in his decision as long as he tried, and he decided he didn't want to do it, then we backed him up.
He fell into tattooing towards the end of his high school years, and tried it out on his own and dabbled back and forth in and out of it. While he's doing regular jobs and in between jobs, he would try to do some tattooing, and he just excelled with that.
17 years ago is when he started getting into the tattoo industry, and but then he always got people putting him down or saying, no, that doesn't look good, or no, you shouldn't do that. You know, you need a real job. When he actually became your apprentice is when he really, you know, he was drawing and stuff, and it was good. But when he started to apply himself, the difference was amazing.
Well, that's the thing. He had a calling that kept calling him back, you know, and it got to a point where he was getting burned out on all these physical jobs, because he, you know, he's like me, just a high school graduate. The day that he came and asked me and his mom if we would support him on going 100% tattoo, and so we said yeah, but just to love to see him be happy.
Because he finally found his niche. He found his passion. He found what was driving him.
It's a beautiful day out. Come on in. Stop by Ambitious Ink. Get yourself a sweet tattoo. Ask for Josh. I will hook you up.
I'm Chris Leal. We opened the shop about 2 years ago. We're Ambitious Ink. And this is Dusty. She's pretty much my right-hand man.
So my name's Dusty. I'm his wife. I run and manage the shop, and he does the tattoos.
Trying to open up a new shop, being the new person in the town, it's definitely hard to bring up all the clientele.
Finding the right crew. And I like a little family that we created. Like, it's cool seeing them be best friends, and it's like, all because we wanted to do this, you know? It's really cool.
Yeah, we got a good crew. We've went through new people, and it just, if it doesn't vibe, because we're with these guys every day.
I like hearing when he says, Dad, they really like that tattoo I did. You know, they really enjoy it, or they already, I don't know what you guys do, you send things out on the phone saying, oh, this guy did this and everything, and he gets so excited.
And now I think we got the best crew we can have.
Yeah.
With the artists, we're mom and dad. We're mom and dad.
Mama, papa.
Yeah, we take on the father and mother role big time. You know,
Oh yeah, we annoy them. We annoy our crew. We're always up in their business. We're always pushing them, correcting them. But I think it's paying off. I think.
Yeah, it's paying off. We push them. We definitely push them. It's definitely in our name, Ambitious Ink, and we make sure they're ambitious.
He always did well with any job he did. He never had a problem finding a job or keeping a job. But it wasn't what he truly wanted to do. So when he really found his drive for tattooing, we just supported him.
So when I first met Josh, I thought he was quiet.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
I thought he was a gentleman, which he through and through has always been that.
Yeah, he definitely made us feel safe. Anytime there was a questionable person out in the parking lot, or you know, homeless people camping, he was the first one right out there.
He enjoyed it, yeah.
Yeah. Anytime Dusty had to walk to the liquor store to grab anything, he was just right there.
And sometimes it took a little while to get to know Josh, because he's a big guy. No, he's intimidating looking, but he's just a big teddy bear.
My name's Beaver. You know, I've been working here at Ambitious Ink for about almost 2 years now.
I'm Sleazy. I'm an artist here. Been here just about the same time, almost 2 years. Big goals, yeah.
I'm Joey. I'm over here. I'm an apprentice, and I've been here for about like 6 months.
Nice.
Oh, we love each other.
Yeah.
No, we're pretty close.
Nice.
Really good.
Okay.
Well, I was the first hire here when we first opened, and then Josh was the second hire. I remember I was still an apprentice, and so I came in just a regular day, right? And this guy's in here, he's wearing a white Thrasher hoodie. He's like all tatted up all his face, and I have like a couple tattoos and stuff. I thought I was tatted up. No, this guy was like completely blasted, and a long orange beard. I was like, yo, this guy just looks cool. I was like, but he also looks intimidating to me. And yeah, he had a really firm handshake, which was really cool. It was kind of like, I didn't know I was gonna be really, really fucking close with this guy. So I was just very intimidated, and I was like, I don't know how to approach a cool dude with like tattoos, man. So what do I say, you know?
Yeah, he was just all up in my face when I first met him. Super intimidating guy, you know. he was just the sweetest dude. My family loves him.
I mean, I met him before I even thought about being an apprentice. I worked at Vans, and he came in, and he was like, how do I get sponsored by Vans? Like, that's all I wear. And then I was like, I have no idea. And he came in with, like, it wasn't pressing me, but it was like, he saw Vans when he saw me, and he was like, how do I do this? Like, and it was super intimidating. And then when I met him, like, here, he was really helpful with, like, all the apprenticeship stuff. Like, he had a funny way of telling me how to do things. He's like, you're not wearing gloves for that? And then he would, like, just kind of walk away with hands in pockets. Like, but he's really lovable dude.
It's just funny because he was like a teddy bear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, he would always call me by my real name, and once he found out my real name, so it was kind of just be like, "Hi, Beaver," or should I say, Jared? I'd be like, yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah.
Honestly, we would just I would talk to the guy like 24/7. I don't sleep much, and he didn't sleep much either. So like, I knew like I could send him a TikTok or whatever at like 4 in the morning. He would respond, and we'd just go back and forth, fucking, all the time. That's all we did. We hung out a couple times, like out of work, just cause he met my wife, my kids. My kids called him Jumbo Josh, and they fucking loved him.
Josh had always said that he kind of grew up in and out of a tattoo shop. He just kind of always wanted it, always doodled. He loved doodling his little dinosaurs.
Yeah. I remember him always talking about being a fly at the tattoo shops when he was growing up. He got his first tattoo underage. I remember him telling a story about how he lied about his age in the middle of a tattoo.
Well, there was a couple tattoos that he done that he had put on him to where no one knew that he had, and that's because he was underage.
He's always just been, I can tell he's always been a handful, but he just tattoo all the time.
And his favorite thing to say was that his mom used to tell him to dress for the job that you want. So at that moment, he said, I'm going to ink the whole body because this is what I want to do. And since he did that, that's what he was going to do. And he did that.
We're a perfectionist within ourselves, not within others. And we just want to please and do the best that we can do. It's who we are, and it's kind of like when Josh is going through something, we have to go through it ourselves first before we can talk about it, and we hold everything in. He would spend hours drawing and just practice. And then as he was getting better, he would light up. And you could tell that sense of proudness was coming from within, which makes me as a mom proud. We're always proud of our kids no matter what. But when they find their niche or their passion, it just intensifies.
So how I know Josh is he walked into the shop at High Sierra. As soon as I met him, I was like, oh, this guy's crazy. And like super dedicated. Like he really wanted to be here and like loved it here too. Like he was here every time I was here, he was here before me. And every time I left, he was here after me.
Would always go to work early, show up early, and he would be the last one to leave. And, the boss just never had anybody like that before, especially if it was with tattooing.
Very serious.
Yeah, very serious. Not his room, though.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to have one vice.
I think seeing Josh develop as a tattoo artist was a really beautiful experience, mostly because how bad he wanted it. Like he always was working so hard. He'd always be drawing. He'd always be thinking of ideas or doing designs and just wanting to be better and wanting to do better. And I think from watching him begin and just first start, or like even when you told me he first did his first tattoo, from seeing the first ones to where he was at now and how he got so good with lining, and he was really starting to understand his form of his style. And we would talk about that all the time too. He'd always be like, I'm starting to get my style, like my style as the artist I want to be. And it was beautiful to see him develop.
You can see a drive in him that he knew what he wanted. I guess is the number one thing. You knew what he wanted, and you knew he wanted to do this.
He was very passionate about tattooing. I honestly don't think I've met someone that's so dedicated and focused on just bettering themselves. He was really 100% about that.
I just saw nothing but joy whenever he was doing it. Like, if he was stressed, he was only stressed because he wanted to show how much love he had for his tattoos. And if he was stressed about a tattoo, it was because he was like, I want this to be beautiful. And it was just nothing but like laughs and just good times with him. Like, he truly was a person that every minute of his life, he was loving it. And like he radiated that energy, and it made me way more passionate. I mean, I was already passionate about this, but he just made me want to be even more passionate about it. That's great. Because it really was just, it was never took the tattoo hat off, you know?
Yeah, it made you want to work harder. I mean,
Yeah.
he was always the first one here, last one to leave.
Yeah.
He would do things that were like, he didn't have to do. He would pick up supplies, he would clean up, like, he didn't have to do all that. He would buy supplies out of his own money.
With his own
He would
money.
just, if he needed something, he would just gave it to you.
Yeah.
Like,
I was an apprentice here, and he just made me do like nothing.
Yeah, he
He's
was
like,
"I'll
I'll
do
do
everything."
your job, bro.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. I'll do your job. Definitely. Sure, man. He always made me want to like do so much more than I was already doing. I'm like, dude, like I should probably be doing that. You know what I mean? If he was doing it and I wasn't, I'm like, I should probably be doing that. You know?
It's satisfying. It's knowing that, hey, if I go tomorrow, I know he's gonna make it. You know, I know he could do it. You know, he would come home after working from your shop or Ambition's shop, and he would just tell me stories of what he did. He showed me what he'd done, what kind of drawings and what kind of tattoos he did, and it was just, and when he talked, you could hear the love in it, you know. And
I couldn't be prouder to see him be able to live life the way he wanted.
something that I and Karen both helped him get to where he needs to be. That's what parents want. Yes, he still lived with us, and which is fine. Then when he got his motorcycle and stuff, then we would sit out in the garage and he'll tinker with his bike. I would work on my wood stuff, and we would talk about things about, we were planning on finding a shop together where I do woodwork and he do tattoos. Just dreams that me and him would talk,
Tattooing was a little bit more important, but the motorcycle allowed him to be even freer. My dad has always had a motorcycle, and he really looked up to my dad too. And I would tell my dad, stop telling Joshua your stories, because my dad had a lead foot and loved speed and just, but Josh was, like that. He just loved riding his motorcycle. We supported him, wasn't really happy about it, because, but he loved it. And we want to support our kids in what they love to do.
Because he was bringing in a little bit of money while he was finally doing full-time tattooing, and finally realizing that he could go and do what he always wanted, was get a motorcycle, because he feels a motorcycle, tattoo, a shop, he'll have it all. That's what he wanted, a Harley Davidson. He didn't want no Honda or Kawasaki or anything like that. He tried those things out, but they just wasn't anything like a Harley. He was ear to ear smiling when he got that. If he could, he would have dragged that bike through the house and parked it in his bedroom and slept with it, if he could, But no, that's how close he was with that bike. I trust his riding ability. I really do. I trust it 100%. I think My biggest concern is people out there on the road that don't care, don't give a darn about anybody else on that road. Since this is the woman's first offense, it should be her last time behind the wheel. I'm telling you, it's left a big hole. Left a big hole in my heart. It's never going to be filled. Not until I see him again.
It is every parent's worst nightmare, and it's a nightmare I wouldn't wish that on anybody, not even my worst enemy. As a parent, your job is to protect your child. And I got that call. You know, I failed. And as a mom, I carried him inside me for 9 months. And I have such an empty void and pain that I don't know if I will ever get that back. I actually got the call at work, and I never, ever thought I was going to get a call like that. He just reminds us that nobody's promised tomorrow.
This is to have somebody call you, to have you come outside so we can talk to you about your son. In the sheriff department, you know, it's not the kind of call you want to get.
I had to say goodbye to him. He didn't have me back. That was just so heart-wrenching. But I can hardly wait till I see him again.
Still feeling numb. At times I still thinking he's gonna come home.
My name is Mike. I basically came in for a tattoo one day. This is the first one I got, the ghost face, and me and my wife both came in for tattoos, and we basically just enjoyed getting tattooed by Josh, and the environment was great, and we basically started coming in every Friday or Saturday for a year. And now you can see, these are all done by Josh with the exception of that one, but Josh did everything here. Yeah, I kind of wanted to do a horror sleeve, and then my favorite band is Deftones, so I basically just came in. Every weekend we would kind of switch up. I would do this arm, then I'd do this arm, then this arm. It was fun. It was fun coming in, conversating with Josh. Yeah, I know. He was scared to do that one. Like, he was like, I don't know if I can do it. You could tell like how evolved he got. Like, he started here, he kind of went down, and then he worked. I like this one too, but he did really good on this one. I got that. It's just, you know, I feel like it's him. Like, he always had that red hat on. He had his FOE, family over everything, under his eye. I just kind of wanted to, it was one that he designed. I kind of just, you know, I added that and I added the red hat. It just kind of reminds me of him. He spent a lot of time on this one, and he was really proud of this one. When he did this one, he was like, I can't believe I did that, you know. And it was right around Christmas time too. It was just a happy time at the time. Like, he was super proud of this one.
It was Mike. Mike was driving by. He's seen I'm pretty sure he's seen the accident, or he heard on the news or something.
The motorcyclist is now identified as 37-year-old Josh Cowdrey.
37-year-old Josh Cowdrey.
Local tattoo artist.
37-year-old Josh Cowdrey.
I'm pretty sure he drove by, seen the accident, and he called me and seen if Josh came into work. And I was like, oh no, he's not here. And so he told me about the wreck. We started calling around. We have a friend named Ellie. She works with the ambulance, EMT. She started making calls, got a hold of the police officer,
The sheriff on
site. He called us, and then that's when he dropped the news. Yeah. was just fucked up.
Before we got confirmed that it was Josh, I kept telling, I have a great like intuition. So when that guy had called and asked, have you guys heard from him? I just looked at Chris and I said, this time it's him, because there's been a few scares.
Yeah. And once we were making the calls and striking out, we just knew after every call, after every failed call to people we know that would know where he's at, after every single failed call, we were just, knowing it was him. And
I got a text, and that text, for some reason, that ring was a lot louder than I ever get rings.
And I got no response, and he always responded to me. Always, no matter what.
I asked my client, I was like, hey, can you grab my phone and see who texted me? And it was Minna that texted me, and she was like, did you hear what happened with Josh? And she said that he had passed away on the motorcycle. It was like a bus hit me, like, I was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
I talked to him. I actually saw him the Saturday before. Like, he came to my house and we talked about it. We talked about what I wanted, and we actually live like across the street from him, so we actually saw the accident, and I started making phone calls. I just saw a motorcyclist, I saw a news article about it, and I started making phone calls, and I finally got a hold of Beaver, and it was terrible week. Well, he mentioned to me all the time about drivers almost hitting him, and how he had just told me a couple weeks before that he was at a stoplight and some lady was on her phone or something and almost smashed into him, and he got off and was pissed. And I don't know, man, motorcycle. I wanted a motorcycle for a long time, but just I hear all these things and I don't think I could do it, because all it takes is that one time, I could just imagine him just riding down not a care in the world, and then some idiot, destroys your life. And it's always a drunk driver, it's always drunk people. So it's like a never-ending thing. Like there's no solution to it, Like nothing really happens to these people. They go to jail, they bail out, and maybe you get 3-4 years, but they kill people.
I get a text from Mike, who you guys just recently interviewed, and he was like, he's like, hey, Beaver, if you get a chance, call me back. So I called him back, and he's like, he heard some shit go down about a guy that was tattooed, had a beard, and got hit by a car and stuff like that. Description it sounded like Josh, but also, I don't be mean, but it's kind of a description of a lot of bikers, bearded and tattooed. Once they said it was a red, like an orange beard, that's when I was like, that's too close to home, It was one of those things where reality became, a nightmare almost became true, I guess I would say, And Mike's all like, yo, just if you hear anything else, call me back. I was like, yeah, for sure. I tried calling Josh, his phone just wasn't answering and kept ringing. And then, maybe about 5 minutes later, after I get off the phone with Mike, she calls me and tells me that it was him. When something happens to you and you can't believe it happened, it was one of those moments, and it was very surreal.
I got woken up to a text by Dusty, basically. So the whole time I was coordinating with her, trying to figure out, to call hospitals or whatever, talk to people, try to figure out what happened. Kept texting him, calling him, obviously no answer. I saw the news thing where they kind of showed the bike. I was like, I just knew from the get-go it was his bike. I still showed up. I did the tattoo. I didn't want to think about it, obviously, during the day, but kind of just all hit me once my tattoo was over. But yeah, it was probably the roughest tattoo I've ever done. Josh would have pissed off if I didn't finish that tattoo, so I did it,
And Sleazy came in, and I could just tell by his demeanor that I was it just really kicked in on me. And then he just kind of walked by and was like, not good. And so
I still wake up at anywhere from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the morning and just think about him and talk to him. Just don't know if I'll ever get that emptiness. It's like my heart is just broken.
I talk to him every morning, I try to talk to him and let him know that I'm gonna see him soon. And he was taken from us too soon.
I still expect him to come out of his bedroom or his motorcycle to pull up in the garage. And, you know, so like I said, it's been about 41 days and it's just still too new, and that emptiness is just, I don't know if I'll ever get rid of it.
I want to be on the good side of God, so I'm not going to argue with him. But he's got a good man up there with him, and he's going to try to tattoo him.
Regret. I think regret's number one. I have a lot. I have a lot of regret. I ran the shop like a business person, and that's my number one regret. Because, like I said, we are a family, but I always try to put myself, you know, into the business side of it because I don't want to fail. And because of that, you know, there's a lot of things that I could have said or done different, and that's one of the number one things I deal with.
So the hardest part is being in the shop. I think the first 2 weeks was the worst because there's not anything in here that doesn't remind me of him. It's hard to have a conversation that I say was or were when it comes to talking about him, because in my head I just think he's rambling somewhere. He's just somewhere.
Yeah. This shop was only 3 months old before we took him on, and so everything in the shop has Josh on it.
He was my buddy, like, and I think that's what the hard part about it is. After someone goes, when someone's with you, you don't appreciate and slow down and see everything that person does. And when they're gone, it's like I'll walk up to the door with a handful of food and supplies, and I'll have that moment and be like, oh, he's not there to open the door for me. So,
you know,
it's always that if we would have just had him for another week longer, you know, then we would have got to spend another week longer with him, because you don't know when someone's gonna go. We didn't think we wouldn't get the opportunity to have him come back.
The last thing I told him before he left is, you know, I pretty much grabbed him on the shoulder and I said, Josh, you're gonna do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're meant to own a shop. Like, so just do it. Just go up there and grind and just do it.
And, you know, he loved tattooing, he loved the art, he loved his motorcycle, he loved family and friends. He just loved having fun, you know, and one of the most things I'm really gonna miss is his laugh. It was infectious. For me, I had to forgive this woman because Joshua lived life and was so kind. I didn't want her to own me. And what I mean by that is she has no clue who we even are. But if I allow her to feel bitter and angry, I will never forget what she has taken from family, friends, from us. But I don't want to be bitter. You know, Josh loved his nieces and nephews and our grandkids, and I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I heard one of our grandkids say, I don't want to go to Grammy and Papa's house. They're mean, they're bitter, they're angry, they're no fun anymore. I don't want that. Josh wouldn't want that. And so for me, I had to forgive her, you know, which was very difficult. But like you said, if Josh's personality and someone can take away from who he was, and that can make someone be a better person, one person at a time. And that's all we can ask for. And I really hope this woman gets help, you know, because she needs it.
He was always the guy that wanted you to get up and show your tattoo to everybody, you know. He was always proud of his work. Like, it was fun.
I always called him the Rambling Man. I'd always tell him, you're the Rambling Man. That's what you do. Like, it's just who you are. I mean, he was always the first one at the shop. I mean, when we say artists aren't prop, Josh was. Josh, no matter how late he stayed up all night long. He had problems sleeping. He'd still be at work at 10 every day, and we didn't even open till 11. And he was his apprentice, but eventually he got promoted to being an artist, and he still always set him up every single day.
Every day I'd come into, I would tell him, like, you don't have to do that, thank you, but you don't have to do that no more. And he says, no, it's an honor. Like, I'm gonna do it.
We would get new crew members, and Josh would give them the rundown on how to set up Chris, because he's like, we do this for respect. It's not because you have to, but I would like to see you do this for respect of the owner of the shop. And he literally just always did that.
He definitely had a heart. He had a heart.
Big
for
heart.
Sure. Well,
he was his own worst enemy.
Yeah.
That was, I think, the number one thing that we'd get on to him about is like, get out of your head. Get out of your head and just live life. Just relax. Just stop thinking that, there's bad thoughts out there. I'd always give him pep talks on staying positive.
I can tell that his mind was definitely his own like demise. He would just self-sabotage. His mind was his worst enemy. Sometimes you're just born with that kind of brain, and I can relate to him. I would overthink everything, and you just gotta figure out how to trick yourself in a way.
We had our moments, I'm not gonna lie. There was times where I absolutely adored working with him. Like, it was super nice because I had somebody there, like, when I felt uncomfortable in situations, he would come around and make me feel comfortable just by talking and like being there. And then there were sometimes he'd be in his moods and he'd get super mean, like super annoying. And like we would fight like such the littlest, pettiest little fights. But then at the end of it, we'd come up to each other and be like, all right, I'm sorry, I love you. Like, it's okay. I don't know if a lot of people agree on this, but sensitive, super sensitive. He was very I seen it because I would talk to him a lot, and he always had so much to say. And about anything. If you said one thing, he would have so much to say about it. And it was kind of to the point where he wanted people to talk to. But he was definitely a sensitive guy. I don't think a lot of people seen that through him, but I seen that through him.
Well, he always had the greatest stories. His life was interesting. He always had stories about girls he was seeing. He was moving to Monterey, and me and my wife just both enjoyed his stories. It was entertaining, to say the least. He's just a great guy. He loved to talk.
He's told me some crazy ass stories.
He told us and told me some things that I'm like, no, Mom doesn't want to hear that. But to hear other people talk about him, I'm really looking forward to that.
To the point where I'm like, you've been in that? You've done that before? How do you know so much about that stuff, Josh? And well, I did this, and then I did this. I'm like, why? Why would you do all that stuff?
And today, dozens gathering at High Sierra Tattoo Co. to honor the life of a local tattoo artist.
Dozens from the community permanently marked themselves with one of Cowdrey's designs Saturday.
Knowing our son, how many people he has touched, and I knew that he knew people, but man, did he know people. He was well liked and loved, and I just thank you all and bless you all for being part of his life and supporting us. Thank you. Yeah, I was shocked when we seen everybody at your shop, and then overwhelmed shock about how many motorcycles came out to the site. Oh man, it made me so happy that he knew so many people and how many people that supported him. And if they didn't know him, but they supported the line of work he did, or that he loved bikes, or his life, the way he lived. And I was so surprised and so delighted to see that, and that he made that much of an impact on so many people.
It was just a beautiful experience to see how much people he knew and loved him and wanted to show support for him, whether you're super close or not. The amount of people that came out or that even didn't come out, the amount of people that showed the support that they did it was just beautiful. Because we all knew that he was super popular. Like, he just knew everyone, everywhere, all the time. Like, just so many people knew him. So that was a beautiful experience to see all the support that came through.
The short time that he was here on Earth, he touched so many people, and so many people were his best friend, and I don't think that he even realized that. And, you know, Scott and Karen did an amazing job raising their son, just through and through.
Yeah.
He was a heart of gold, good person.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been that way without him. And he's fine. He wasn't scared. You know, he always joked about that. He wasn't scared, so he lived his life. He lived it to the fullest.
He liked chancing. He liked gambling. That was his thing.
He was somebody who always lived every second of his life in glory. And even on his bad days, he would always be able to pull through the worst holes, man. And not many people can do that. I think he doubted himself way too much for his abilities and his strengths. It sucks when you see something like that for somebody who can't recognize how great they really are. But I'm gonna tell you, man, when he was great, he was great. And I don't think anybody can compare to that.
That's fair. I mean, he was the guy that gave, 120% for everything he did. And I mean, tattooing, motorcycles, family, that's all you needed, I mean, that's really it. Just, he gave his all, and then, like I said, we wish he would recognize that in himself, because he did an awesome job at everything he did. So it just, really,
I just would like for him to see the turnout of all the love that he's gotten from everybody. Every community that he was in and loves him just as much back, and that's like the biggest thing that I want. I would love for him to just see,
Josh didn't think anyone cared about him, and that sucked.
To be a person who cares about everybody and not feel like anybody cares about you is a hard thing, because he did.
Yeah.
He cared about everybody. We had so many people reaching out saying that, like, oh, I lost my little buddy. I lost the person that would always like my picture first, or conversate on a post that I did, and it was just so beautiful seeing how many people that Josh had personal connections with. There was just so many of them.
He created a web.
Yeah.
It was like his own little network, and he just touched everyone. Honestly,
I'm proud of him.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm proud. I'm telling him, we're proud of you. We're really proud of you. And this time, know it. Just get it through your head that we are very proud of you. And just
as a mother, obviously I was just someone here to help guide him on the time that I did have him here at the shop. But as a mother, I even do it with my own kids, and maybe I gotta slow down and look at them and tell them with every little small accomplishment, I'm proud of you, because that's something that I wish that I did with Josh, because I know that he wanted that and he needed that. And instead of saying I'm proud of you, it was, well, what else can you do? How much better can you make it? And I think that's something that I got to work on too, is just looking at the people I'm proud of and saying it, so I don't have to talk to his spirit about it,
Just thank you for being a helping hand, and thank you for being there always. And when I needed to laugh, or I needed to cry, or I just needed a person, thank you for being that person when I needed him.
I love you so much, and I'm so proud of the man that he was and is and always will be.
We sure have the best guardian angel now.
Yeah. Josh, I'm proud of you.
Proud of you, Josh.
I just want to say thank you to you for opening up this broadcast to us and give us a chance to reach out to everybody. And he spoke highly of you. He really enjoyed working with you, and he learned so much. So with that, I really thank you.
I would just say I miss you, man. I wish I could have stopped it somehow. I wish, because he moved to Monterey and then he came back, and I wish he would have stayed, because if he would have stayed, it wouldn't have happened, Or if he never left, he would have been working here, and he wouldn't have been on the road at that time,
Take him back. I would have took him back. I would have got would have put that bullshit aside and, you know, take him back. And that's my number one regret.
He was a cool person, and I hope he's resting easy. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's doing fine.
Josh, we love you. We respect you.
Love you, Josh.
And we miss you, and we will remember you forever.
Fuck.
I know.
I
No,
go.
your
I'm
full name.
I'm so sorry. My name is Jared Rafael Lozano.
The life of an apprentice. Okay, now kiss.
We had like at least half of like a sip of beer. I'd be down.
We thought about it.
We thought all it takes is a sip, bro. do you want me to get like government name?
I don't have any color tattoos, and I know you wanted me to get one, and the tattoo I'm getting in honor of you will be in full color, and you won.
Man, so honestly, I miss you. My family misses you. The kids ask about you all the time. You know, they lost an uncle basically. So yeah, I mean, I miss Jumbo Josh.
I did it my way.
Josh was driving home one day, and there was a car in front of him and didn't brake at all and ran right into the pole. And it was an elderly lady. You know, he had called 911 and he tried so hard to find a family member or to get any information so he could let that family know that she didn't die alone. And that really hit him hard because he was not able to do that. And one of the gentlemen that was with Joshua reached out to our daughter, and we found out Josh wasn't alone. And so it's just heartwarming knowing that there's still caring people out there, and Josh was one of them. Just wanted to do right by people. He wanted to be treated the way he treated people. And that really meant a lot to him.
I'm not real fond of needles, but he was trying to describe to me how thick the needles were going in and stuff like that. And it's not going to be that bad. And it was my first tattoo, and so far it's the only one I've got. And you know, and I'm glad I had it done by him. And nobody could take that away from me.
probably the best time to watch a movie.
He lived life the way he wanted. And if we could all take a little bit of that from him, it would be such a better place.